Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I had the chance to also go to the Reset and Restoration Conference on July 18th. So honestly, initially, I was a little worried and nervous to go because I knew the whole conference was going to be in Korean and the pastor was going to speak in Korean and the group leaders were all going to speak in Korean. So I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, am I going to understand everything? Am I going to connect with the people? And another worry came up when one of the group leaders, they messaged on Kakao. They were trying to like break ice and get to know everyone and find a common ground. And they're asking questions and writing like paragraphs in Korean about themselves in the church. And I was like, oh no, how am I going to read through all this? And they're asking about like MBTI, and I don't even know my MBTI. So I was like, oh no. But I was honest with them, and I kind of hesitated for a bit, and thank goodness for, Google Translate. So we were able to connect, and I shared as much as I could, and I really appreciated their efforts to try to kind of connect with us in the beginning. And I did find out my MBTI after. So I took time when we were driving to Penticton. I did the questionnaire. So we're opposite. That's why we have a challenge. Anyways, the first seminar, the pastor spoke on like what is the purpose and traits of a house church, the role of 목장 leaders, and the steps in spiritual life together. The pastor spoke of the purpose of house church is for God's glory to be revealed through saving souls, through VIP transformation, and making disciples through life transformations. And as a result, God's glory is revealed through these transformations as we resemble more of Christ. So these transformations happen through love and acts of service, right? The pastor spoke of steps of spiritual life together as one, first getting to know Christ, two, loving Christ, and three, experiencing God's power. He defined a Christian as one who experiences God, such as through answered prayers. And so as I was learning about this during the seminar, I was thinking about our house church, so kind of what you shared. But I could see how we have experienced and are experiencing these steps together as a community. From sharing prayer requests, sharing praise reports, and witnessing God's power working through different families. So I think, like him saying for me, as we were hearing about what a house church is, it made us think of each family and each face came to mind. And it was just a blessed time of reflection to see God has been working in these ways, transforming families, transforming lives, and we've been blessed to be a part of that. Through like sharing meals, life together, healing, through, prayer times. Even just last week in our house church meeting, we were talking about ways of, reaching other VIPs and how to even serve the community. I know, Ben was sharing about what could we do, right, to reach the other people. Is there another way that we could outreach? So I feel like we're kind of moving through these spiritual life steps together. So it's been a blessing to reflect on that. The second seminar focused on church leadership, role and execution from succession to sustainability. So the pastor talked about how succession is important because of God's vision and spirit, and you should sustain the house church's spirit, which is holding the value of each one's soul and God's kingdom. The pastor mentioned about the importance of church leaders having the church's priority, holistic views, church's purpose, and church's focus at heart. When I thought about how the house church in the Seoul Baptist House Church in Houston started as a Korean-speaking congregation, and now they have a larger English-speaking congregation, I was actually curious to know how that transition had gone and how they were able to transition and bridge these communities. So I was hoping to learn more about that, but we didn't have a chance to ask the pastor, so we felt a little bit ashiwa, right? As I was thinking about our community, we live in Canada, and I thought about our different VIPs. Some of our 목장 families' spouses, right? Some of our friends are not Korean or they speak a different language. So the question that kind of lingered in my head and the challenge was around, just the need to grow and build a bridge between the community where both English and Korean speakers can experience God's love and kingdom. That question stayed in my mind. So although there were aspects that I found I didn't fully connect to at this conference, maybe age, culture, generation differences, overall I was thankful to have an opportunity to reflect on our house church and our church culture and affirm the direction of our church and how it's moving and growing. It gave me a heart of gratitude for the community, the resilience, love, and strength that we're building and have at Maranatha Community. And even during this time where, we don't have a pastor right now, we don't have our own church right now, but it's been a blessing to see how we've all come together. It made me reflect on the different transformations that we've been able to witness in our house church community and how thankful I am for each member in our group. I pray that in God's time, He'll provide us with a pastor that is able to lead our congregation with love and support the direction that God has planned for our community. So, thank you.